So I says, yo, haha, it's all in the words.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I am, of course, multitasking again. On one hand, I'm organizing my music, listening to the music, listening to the lyrics, putting them in the folders that they need to be in. And when I do that, I come here to Second Life and I play cheesy, advanced cheesy. A lot of times I have the news on in the background. Basically, my fam my fam it's like second nature to have the news on. We know the big picture about what's going on in the world. Hold on. We know, we have a good idea of what the big picture is with this world, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on, let me get some water. I'm back. I'm back. So personally, it's just a reminder of what I can already imagine that's going on out there. All right, so this topic is dealing with the police, and we've been hearing more and more and more. We've been seeing more and more and more destruction from the police department, and anyone who's tuning into the news is seeing the same thing. It doesn't matter what your tax bracket is, you see it. You see what's going on. And so, what triggered me to start this video was a news report of another police officer versus civilian encounter. And it's just a big old trigger. Now, I keep telling you all my disclaimers that I do my research on, or I have done my research on some things, and there's a lot of things out there that I still need to do my research on. And I like to talk the talk and walk the walk. So, check this out. By definition, the police, as a noun, is the civil force of a national or local government responsible for the prevention and detection of crime and the maintenance of public order. As a verb, the police have the duty of maintaining law and order in or for an area or an event. Now, as I'm looking at the first definition, I was like, okay, I gotta stop at the word civil. So I look up civil, and this is my first time reading it with y'all. The adjective of it is relating to ordinary citizens. Relating to ordinary citizens and their concerns, as distinct from military or escalate, escalist, ecclesiastical, ecclesiast matters. I don't know. Ecclesiastical matters. I don't know. I hate when they use big words. It's like fucking just give it to us. You never know who's looking up this shit, so dumb it down. The adjective form, the synonyms, is secular, non-religious, lay, laic, laical, non-military, civilian. So civil relates to a person, your everyday person, relating to private relations between members of a community or non-criminal. Speaking, like example is civil action, uh, courteous and polite. When you're being civil to somebody, you're being courteous and polite. Um, anyway, so that's what they. It's got to be some more to the definition. More definitions and word origin. I'll leave it right there. Okay, then I was just like, all right, force. You see exactly what they're saying force is. And I say they because I don't know who put this shit on the internet. So anyway, the now tense of force is strength or energy, as an attribute of physical action or movement. Strength, the synonyms are strength, power, energy, might, potency, vigor, muscle, stamina, effort, exertion, impact, pressure, weight, impetus. I won't know what impetus is. Second definition for the noun is coercion or compulsion, especially with the use or the threat of violence. So, force is, okay, the example is they ruled by law and not by force. So, force is like, yo, you didn't give me a reason to use force, or I didn't have a reason, a compulsion, you know what I'm saying, to use force on somebody, especially with the use of the threat of violence. Then they go into mental or moral strength or power. The force is with you. The force of popular opinions. Intensity. The synonyms are intensity, feeling, passion, vigor, vigorousness, drive, fierceness, vividness, impact. Anyway, it goes into the verb of force. It says make a way through or into by physical strength, break open by force. So to break that down, it's just like, yo, like this example is, they broke into Fred's house and forced every cupboard door with axe or crowbar. They forced it to do what? They forced it to do what? That's stupid. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so individually, civil is being basically any average person being polite, morally, ethically to another person. And then force is, an action or description of, force is how much energy you're going to put into an action, or force is the actual. It says, as an example, he was thrown backward by the force of the explosion. So the explosion, force of the explosion. So you know how you get jerked back? Well, that's the force of something against your body. So you got a person, your everyday person, who's in a position to where there's something going against that person's body or will or ideas, either physically or mentally. Now, if I'm fucking up, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you to question everything that I'm saying. Do your own research and come up with your own opinion. Leave me a comment and be like, you got that all fucked up, my G. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be making these type of videos. Alright, so when you put civil force together, oh shit, I forgot to look up the definition. Civilian labor is a term used by the Bureau of Labor Statistics to categorize the portion of the U.S. civilian population no, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want civil defense force. I don't want the types of forces. I don't want civil defense definition. I don't want the definition of civilian. I don't want force to be separated from it. They got sheer force, civil force. Okay, here we go. So they're not starting off with just a straight definition, but they're giving us examples. And I'm not just looking for examples, I'm looking for straight definition. So that's not helpful. So anyway, when I do my research on something, hold on one second. When I look up stuff, I like to break down every sentence, and I like to look up every word that I just don't know the meaning to, or can't say it in my own words. And as you see, when I was doing my research on shit, I got 13 pages full of words and definitions. It's like when you look up one word, it's got other words inside of it that you might not understand, so you gotta constantly break down a definition for another definition by another definition, whatever. And it's like right here, you see that I stopped. I was done for the day because there were more words that I needed to look up. And I think I started with the word liquidate. You know what I'm saying? So when I sit back and listen to what's going on in the world, and I get triggered, and when I get so consumed into it, then I start to look up shit, and I start to do my research, and it gets to a point where I'm not getting answers because I'm getting a big runaround. And when I figured that out in my 20s, and this is before internet, you go to the library. Next thing you know, you start off with one book, and then you got, 3 or 4 books, or whatever limit of books that you're able to, sit down with, just to try to get an answer for something. And so it's like, yo, what's up with the runaround, man? Just give me the fucking answer that I'm looking for. And when you're alone, you don't have anybody else that you can bounce ideas off of. You know what I'm saying? And it puts you in a mental fucked up position, puts you in a physical fucked up position, and incompletion is, it's like hard to accept sometimes. I know that whole serenity thing is, give me the wisdom to know what I can and cannot change, and give me the strength to change the things that I can. And I need to have the wisdom to be able to know the difference of the things that I can and cannot change, but also need to have the wisdom of or about the things that I want to change, and why, and the wisdom of why I can't change those things, or why I shouldn't change those things. So, I'm not a stupid person. It's just the system has failed me in so many ways, and my attempts to fix what is going on in my own brain. You know what I'm saying? The quest for curiosity. You know what I'm saying? Answering this curiousness that I have. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you get run around in circles, and it's not a cool thing. It's not a cool thing at all. It's very bothersome. You know what I'm saying? It just starts to trigger me off in other ways. And so, whenever I heard that when a person is pursuing facts and truth, you end up putting yourself in a position where you could drive yourself crazy. And you gotta learn how to back up and fucking smell the roses, enjoy life without getting so consumed. People who deal with conspiracy theories and all that shit, it's like, yo, that could be so unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? It's been proven that it's a unhealthy habit. So whenever I think about that, I'm like, look at all the people who worship, or, different idols. It's like, are you serious? This whole pursuit of understanding religion, or better yet, accepting a certain type of religion. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you not seeing the damage that comes to the folks who just do shit and blame it on a religious act? Logical people and the law don't accept that shit. So it's like, once you learn that fire is hot and you shouldn't touch it, there comes a point where you should leave certain things alone. And politics and religion are like the two topics that are taboo for basic conversations with people, because there are so many different views that can that can come from a conversation. There's so many branches, that have twigs on them, or it might have fruit on it, or it might be a dead branch or something like that. I'm trying to use different figures that you can put in your mind when it comes down to the tree of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? It starts with the roots, and then it goes up the trunk, and then it goes out to the branches, and then each branch has a subdivision of other branches that lead one direction or another. So I'm sitting here listening to the news, and I'm like, okay, now this young lady is in her 20s. She's not yet 30. Comes to find out that she has, I believe they said sickle cell anemia, something like that. That she has a physical disability. And no, she doesn't hyperventilate. While she's in the custody of the police, she has some type of an attack, a physical attack. You know what I'm saying? When the nervous system is triggered and you can't, you know what I'm saying, find a peace, you can't get harmony, your body's going to overwork itself. And when it's already got, you know what I'm saying, other deflections, it causes extra issues. So anyway, when you hear about this, you know, a woman being put in a fucked up situation over people who are supposed to protect and serve, yeah, you tend to get pissed off. You tend to get passionate. You tend to go through an emotional roller coaster, whatever. There's too many words to describe what a person goes through. And that person's family, person's friends. As a matter of fact, this leads to a conversation that I had today. Somebody told me that somebody else was going through a heavy physical issue, and when I asked the person, you know, how were they doing, and did they have something going on that they wanted to talk about, and then, you know, I spilled it out to them, and I used it, you know what I'm saying, exactly what I was told that person was going through. They was basically, you know, pissed off that their life had been a subject of gossip. And so I didn't get a yes or no answer, but regardless, I gave them all the universal energy that I could give them, you know what I'm saying? You know, all the positive vibes that I can send them. It's like, you know, they don't have to answer to me. I'm just another person that they keep at arm's length. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted me to know something, they would have told me, you know what I'm saying, before I even heard it from somebody else. So to take it personally, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's not my life, you know what I'm saying? But humanity is a big thing. It's a real big thing, and it comes with a big responsibility. The more people that you deal with, it's your choice on how much you're gonna let them into your life, and it's their choice on how much they're gonna let you into their life. But whenever you get some news, you know what I'm saying, I believe that's empathy, right? When you share a concern for somebody. And so that's a good thing, but not everybody wants their business out in the street. That's why I'm not saying no names or where this information came from, blase blase. So it's like, when I think about the news, I'm like, they're only reporting not even 1% of what's really going on out there. Every day there's somebody getting fucked up and fucked over. But the universe balances things out to where, you know, every day there's something good going on. So even though I get triggered on something, it's up to me to flip the switch in my mind, flip the switch with my emotions, and do what's best for me. And what's best for me is to sometimes get involved with the information and do my own research on it or whatever. And sometimes it's just like, man, what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? It's no surprise. And all I could say to end off this video is, I know how lazy I am when it comes down to looking up information. And I know that on this one, I'm not even going to follow my own advice. But for people who are out there every day, damn near, you're putting yourself in a position to deal with a situation that you might not feel comfortable with when it comes down to the police. And you gotta know what your rights are, but most importantly, you gotta know what to do, when to do something, and you have to also realize immediately that the situation is damn near out of your hands. And so self-preservation has to be right there at the tip of your tongue, right there on your sleeve. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I see people in these videos getting confronted by the cops, I look at the level of intensity that they exert, and I'm like, yo, what did Bruce Lee say? You gotta become water. You know what I'm saying? What does yin and yang deal with when it comes down to chi? You know what I'm saying? What are the best martial arts telling you that when you're dealing with somebody who's pushing, you got to use their force against them? So on a mental and emotional level, it's like playing a head game on somebody who's using verbal force, physical force. It's like, man, sometimes you got to just go limp and go with the situation. I got pulled over one time when I was a teenager, and even though I was nervous, complying was the first thing that came to mind, and keeping my hands in clear view. It was like a natural instinct to do that. Basically, I ain't gonna say natural instinct. It's just something that I was taught, that I was trained at. You know what I'm saying? By watching what other people have gone through. And when people discuss, I should, could have, would have done this, whatever. It's like, man, in my situation, the police were the ones that opened up the door. Even though my hands was on the steering wheel, they grabbed my arm and they grabbed the back of my shirt, pulled me out of the vehicle, ripped my shirt, had me down on the ground, and put me in whatever position that they was going to put me in. And it was one of those things where my mind didn't go blank, but my body went limp to allow them to do whatever they can do. I didn't want to give them no reason to even say or think, do not, what is that? Don't resist. You know what I'm saying? I didn't use the words, I'm not going to resist. I showed in actions that I wasn't going to resist. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you got it, man. Shit, you got me in this position and you got a gun in my face. What the fuck else am I going to do? So, since the situation was out of my hands at that time, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's too late for me to think about the next couple of steps forward at that position. You know what I'm saying? I had to get through that position, get back, you know what I'm saying, get put into the police officer's car safely. You know what I mean? But it's like, here it is. I shouldn't have had myself in that situation in the first place. Didn't nobody force me, didn't nobody put a gun up to my head and tell me I did the shit that I did to be in that position. So wisdom is a wonderful thing. Not all experiences are good experiences. It's a good thing to sit back and learn through somebody else's mistakes without you having to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Fucking I almost got robbed at gunpoint one time when I was a teen. I was on my way back from picking up some pizza, and I was walking through the school grounds, and two fellas walked up behind me, and they said some slick shit, and I wasn't going to turn around because, you know what I'm saying, when you watch these movies, it's like once you see who's doing something to you, that automatically makes a person be like, oh, they saw me. I can't have no witness to what I've done. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, just look forward, say as less that I need to say, and by it being a street thing, it's like, yo, the definition of don't being a punk is just doing some wise shit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, give me your money. It's like, all I have is change, but I need to get that to my pops. You know what I'm saying? You might kill me or do something physical to me, but you know what I'm saying? I got to deal with another situation if I go home without the change. You know what I'm saying? All the change that we could possibly need in the world. No, let me put it like this. We need all the change that we could possibly have in order to survive and live. So it must be said that, yo, you asked me for something that I actually need. I know you don't give a fuck because you just don't give a fuck. But to end that part of the story, one of the dudes recognized my voice, looked at me, and recognized who I was. And they began to get jokey. It was like, go on, man. You know what I'm saying? And I walked my ass, I continued my walk home. So you just never know when something's going to go down, whether it's from the streets, whether it's from your family, or whether it's from the police, the city, the state, the government. You just never know. If you're watching this video, I thank you, because the reason why I'm making this video is that I was triggered. I had some thoughts and some emotions that got triggered by something that I heard about a situation somebody else was going through, and I want to try to motivate other folks to, look at things and find the balance of each situation, and gotta quickly be on your toes. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no time for a lot of people to think about what's going on. But I have this this way of thinking that if mankind can walk up to a wall socket, flip a switch, and the light can come on, flip that switch again, and the light go off, and no matter how many times you flip that switch, that current is going on and off. So the light is going to go on and off until the fucker blows. Or you blow a circuit, you know what I'm saying? You strain the electrical circuit. So applying that to a person's mental capacity to somebody's physical attributes, it seems the same to me. It only makes sense that it would seem the same. And so I'm just like, yo, motivating folks is the best thing that I can do at this time. And I don't want to motivate someone to do something stupid. I want to motivate someone to do something wise, to do something that's going to benefit themselves and whoever's in their circle, because there's a lot of people who are getting fucked over left and right. And there's a lot of people putting themselves in a position, even though they think they're having an innocent fucking day. Being outside right now is more dangerous than it has ever been. People who like to be out in nature to exercise, you can get fucked over so quickly. And it's like, yo, was it worth it? And then it's like, do you want to keep yourself enclosed and away from people and away from nature? Well, no, because that can be unhealthy too. So still in all, there's a way that a person can do what's really right for themselves. But there's also the thing of timing. And some of these answers is hard to come by. So once again, my disclaimer is I'm not the smartest person in the world, and I'm not the dumbest person in the world. I have done my research on some things, and there's things that I still need to do my research on. What I need you to do is to question everything that I'm talking about. Do your own research on these topics and form your own opinion on these topics. You know what I'm saying? And share your thoughts and opinions with other people. You can leave me your comments. You can comment to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you feel comfortable with. And the reason why I want people and need people to share their thoughts in a tactful way. You know what I'm saying? Some people aren't too tactful, but they're at least getting it out their system. But the reason for that is because you never know when somebody is going through the same shit that you're going through. Somebody could be having the same thought that you are having, no matter when they might have thought it. They might have been alone. Alone meaning they had other people around them that just thought they was the weirdo because they thought that way. So when you're sharing your ideas with other people, your opinions and things like that, you just never know the impact that it has. It's like that butterfly effect. And if you don't know what that is, go look that up. The butterfly effect. Not the movie, but the whole idea behind the butterfly effect. Creating waves and watching the ripples spread. You never know how far that ripple's gonna go. Not unless you can visually see it, you know what I'm saying? But if you're on one side of the ocean, you never know how far that ripple is going to go. You don't know if it's going to grow. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I want to send all the positive energy and vibes that I can to, the folks who are listening and just to the universe, period. You know what I'm saying? A person don't have to listen to be like, man, what's that feeling, man? What is that vibe, man? I feel kind of warm, man. Man, I feel loved, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where it's coming from, but man, that felt good. Reason why I know is because I've had that done. I've gone through that feeling. Been in a bad situation and just felt a real warm, comforting feeling that helped me get through some of the shit that I've gone through in my life, the traumas. So you just never know who's thinking of us as a people, as mankind. People that don't even speak our language, you know what I'm saying? But they're conscious to what's going on in the universe as far as energy goes, vibrations. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. My name is Podrey. I want you to have a good day, a good night, a good morning. Peace.